anyway, there's a concept. There's something I want to bring up real quick. I just wanted to get the thought out here. It is what it is. Shout out to Game Changer. He's on Bernard Riley's thing as we speak. We have a disagreement. And I want to kind of outline the shit more on my shit. And I have no problem talking to somebody on a panel about this weekend or whatever. I've been going really hard, and I still do. Because I stand by everything I said. When it comes to a lot of the shit, I've told y'all straight up. Like, I don't want to hear it about y'all crying about what hoes are winning and shit like that. And I know people want to talk about Ramil, so his channel, which what I really don't want to do is I don't want to, at the end of the day, I would never tell nobody to buy a YouTube channel for somebody else. I would not do that. And I have my reasons for doing that. Like, it's one thing to buy promotion, but at the end of the day, people can sell what they want to sell. And so that is what it is. So whatever. But one of the things that I said on before I hopped off of Bernard Riley's channel is I was talking about the law. I was talking about reciprocation. And I said one of the reasons why dudes are so hostile to women being in this space is because content creators see the pot. Number one, content creators a lot of content creators will talk to women even outside of it being a benefit to them from a business side. And I can tell you right now, these, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this to say that they're bad, but one of the things in life, women don't deal with dudes out of the kindness of their heart. There is something they want, whether it's dick, whether it's attention, whether it's whether it's whatever. There's something that whether it's monetary or potential one step or two steps connection of monetary, aka clout. There is or credibility. There is a reason. And look, I've dealt with women. See, I'm gonna be seen as, oh, well, you hating on women because, like, whatever, y'all can say whatever the fuck y'all want to say, because I got a couple of women that's come to this, that's in my chat. They're not content creators, whatever. But what I'm saying is, you have to understand that part of this shit. Again, red pill means aware. And I'm not saying you can't do shit, but you got to be aware of the moving parts for shit. And not be on this, oh, well, they're doing it because we're interacting. No bullshit. Because when you actually... So one thing, Obsidian supports the nigga, Game Changer supports the nigga. And to be fair, it was me and Game Changer having this exchange. I brought Danica up as an example. Let me tell you something. I don't give it, just like how I don't care who y'all clicked up with. That shit doesn't move me as far as what I say. No matter who it is. It really doesn't. So the thing about it is, yes, I know, I've said it. Yes, I know Danica comes from Facebook. I was listening to her back in Facebook, in an early version of Facebook video. Yes, I know, or she hasn't really gotten a lot of our space as far as the percentage of her channel. I understand that. And see, this is where we start getting into the little details of shit to muddle shit up with the overall point. At the end of the day, one of the reasons I think she was engaged, and this is just my opinion, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, that could be true, but one of the things that I think she was dealing with Obsidian, she may like Obsidian, she may think Obsidian smart. Those things can be obviously true too. But Obsidian is also one of the quote-unquote founders of 2.0. And when I say that, I don't mean that to be stupid. I mean, it's a difference between what somebody else is going to perceive for that is on the outside versus on the inside. And so it's seen that he can give a lot of credibility to somebody that comes into this. So it happens, and let's be clear here, there is a complete net benefit of women getting access to people in the group. Now here's the thing, people say, well, I thought, Edward, you said that YouTube is public and you can't control audiences. I stand by that, but there's a difference between controlling an audience and then outwardly just opening the hen house, giving credibility and signing off on folks. And then when they say some crazy shit, it's like, okay, well, they can have their opinions. If they say some shit like, oh, you should give your last name, the woman's last name to your son because of how you feel about the baby's father. At the end of the day, you let that nigga nut in you and you had his baby. You could have aborted the kid. So by definition, that you should give him his last name. you remove a certain amount of identity from somebody, and the fact that you could say something, that somebody could say something like that and not understand that shit, goes to show you that speaks volumes. The fact that you can't understand that, because if you put that to a daughter, they'll understand that real quick. And that's one of a couple of things. These are not the worst things in the world, but that is a big thing. That's not a small thing. And one of the things Danica was talking, yeah, you used to support me. Now, no, what it is you did exactly what April did. You started saying certain things that, is not in alignment. And I'm not one of these people where like you gotta be perfect. But what I am saying, there's certain things, like for instance, if a man says, every once in a while a bitch needs her ass whooped, and a man should just beat the shit out of her, somebody has a right to judge me on that alone above everything else. That's what I'm talking about. And we're not gonna play like if somebody were to do that, black men would not be saying that. Y'all see how, again, and I'm not saying this is wrong, look at how Glendon got judged. So this idea that you don't get judged on one thing you say, even if it's 1% of everything you've ever said, depends on what that thing is, right? So, and it is what it is. I'm not out here saying that anybody subscribed to Danica Marie is horrible. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, what I'm not going to do is we're not desperate for females. We're not desperate for females to give us credibility. It's a nice thing to have, but it's definitely not something that we need. And if there's going to be a lot of cost with that, there is what it is. There is no trust in this motherfucker. It really isn't. So people say, well, you got to question people's intentions. No, because this shit about, you motherfuckers to hold women accountable like every once in a while, or even if they consistently do it, that's not, ain't nobody done really paid a cost for that. Not really. Not really. And again, I understand the females that are really talking about y'all hoes aren't running game right. Y'all don't know how to run game. And that's really what it is. Y'all are not running game. But that ain't necessarily doing what's in black men's best interest. And that's why I come back to this law of reciprocation. The reality of the situation is, like I said before, and I personally don't give a shit about it, because at the end of the day, I have no problem competing and building my channel. But my thing is, the perception that a lot of these guys get, which is constantly in my ear, constantly listening to Ramil so much on this hoes of winning shit, is the fact that we can't go into their shit and build our shit off them, but they can come here and do that with us. That's a fact. How you fucking feel about any bitch, I don't care. That is the perception out there. And the reality is that one of the reasons why some of y'all get the heat y'all get, or y'all credibility is questioned, is because of that shit. That's what it is. That's one of the bigger things. And when people say, and these little examples or exceptions to the rule don't make the rule. They don't make the rule. Because then it's like, I'm a small creator and they're doing this. Well, the question is, I'm not seeing y'all growing off of that. And it doesn't matter if it's because you're not, even if let's say you weren't good. The truth is, nobody can show me anybody that's really growing off that tactic, that strategy. Fantastic ain't really growing off of Jessica X. In fact, a lot of audiences that Jessica has is very hostile to Fantastic. Some of this is maybe y'all not know how to take advantage of it, cool. But my main point is that they can grow off of us a hell of a lot more than grow off of them. Even when some of them have a male audience. And so what we do, even if we're smaller creators, we drive a lot of, trust me, all these women are not necessarily driving a lot of viewership. Shout out to Kendra, because I know she is. But a lot of these women are not driving a lot of viewership. They may be getting views because they're getting promoted in the algorithm. Because the algorithm has its preferences. So the perception, and because they get promoted in the algorithm, that means they get promoted, they get subscribers. They don't have to be good. They don't have to. And this is one of the complaints. They don't have to know what the fuck they're talking about. They can just parrot it. And that's what they're talking. Like I told you all, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. The question really is, well, what do you want content creators to really do about it? Now that's different from folks are kind of like opening the store because that may give an individual content creator credibility, but at the expense of polluting the space. And certain people have a greater capacity of doing that. Like Game Changer is a small creator like me. So him doing that ain't the same thing as like Obsidian doing it. Or maybe as like O'Shea doing it. But the truth is, when O'Shea does it, O'Shea is more doing it for his own channel. Because O'Shea ain't doing panels. That's another thing. You gotta pay, there's a difference between the panel shit. A lot of this shit is like panel warfare. Versus people that are more individualized content creators. Because when they're individualized content creators, their brand is typically tied to just them. This is why I always tell people I'm not a leader in this space. I'm me. Because I don't want my shit to be tied. I don't want my shit, anything I do, to be like a representation necessarily of the space in a negative way. This is why I make it clear. I'm not a leader in this space. Y'all talk about the influence. I'm just me. Now, if people want to listen because the shit I say makes sense, it makes sense. But at the end of the day, I hear you all. It's just like but because I hear you all, I don't need to hear every day all the time. And to be straight, yeah. And I'm not warring with women, but this is the same thing I talk. This same shit with the Pan-Africanists. This is the same thing with the Pan-Africanists. I don't believe in one-way shit. I don't believe in that. And so when people talk about, well, yeah, she helped me, I'm not looking for just me. I'm looking for, but not if I'm going to talk about with the space. I'm looking for, okay, what is the, I'm looking for a couple of people. It's not just the space. It's not just one person. And what I find, it's like individual, it's targeted things. Because people are trying to carve out like certain people. So then, because you don't need the full market, you just need a portion of it. And then you can get the credibility. So just because I may say y'all need to kind of shut the fuck up about constantly bringing that shit up, doesn't mean I don't have an act, because I had an eye for that shit regardless. Because he was talking about, Game Changer was talking about, yeah, well, Chantel Simone blew up. Chantel Simone blew up because of Poor Man. Yeah, look, Chantel is great. I have no problem with her. But let's be very fucking clear about this. Chantel got bigger because she was connected, because her and Poor Man did podcasts. As he was coming up. And I'm not saying he's wrong for doing that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But she didn't blow, and that means she really didn't blow up off our space like that. I've been saying that. But my point is, a lot of these women, it's an easy way to get on. And that's what they did in 1.0. They got on by having conversations, and then they turned. And that's why you haven't really seen that since then, because we've always had an eye for that. Now what it is because there's more money to be had. You have more women that are willing to come in here. And you also have more dudes that, look, I've said I'm one of them. They want to get access to some of that money. Now, see, the thing about it is I have my limits as to what I'm willing to do that. And that's not to say I'm better than anybody, but I'm being very careful of preserving the credibility of my channel. And like I told Game Changer, people are used to Game Changer talking to women. So Game Changer can kind of get away with that a little bit more than what I can. So how you preserve credibility with your own audience, that's an individual thing, depending on what the dynamics of your channel is. But what I'm saying, it was the same thing with Bernard and that chick, that light-skinned chick. Sandra, she seemed like she's all right. But at the end of the day, I'm also going to be like, hey, you have 800 subscribers. You only have 1,000 on Instagram. And it's not anything you're saying that's like significant. It ain't like you're putting your packaging this stuff in a way that's like, okay, this can reach, like Love Dorsey was the comments that she was saying could actually reach certain people that other people might not be able to access. So it's like there's nothing you're really bringing in. Now, if you want to have a conversation and be a part of the conversation, cool. But then it became this, and that's what happens. People start being unapologetic, like they don't know how to talk to black men. It's like you're worried, you're scared that we're gonna drop the shoe. So you're constantly saying, I'm sorry and I'm this and I'm that. I'm like, yo, that's not what, we're not asking you all to do that. We're not asking you all to talk to us from a perspective of fear. Like we might whoop your ass out of nowhere or something. Have the conversation. Where we agree, we agree. Where we don't, we don't. If you're trying to look for the right thing to say, then that means you must not really believe the same things that we do. Because the shit that we are saying all falls under the guise of common sense. Everything we say falls under common sense. And where we want to have a disagreement with that, we have it. Like when me and Game Changers just had one. I said straight up. I said, look, the reciprocation is not there. Now, you may say it's there for you. Cool. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the space. The reciprocation is not there. It's not. And it's not to say all the women are bad, but what this is to say is we got to start forcing that issue. Saying, look, we know you got a lot of niggas that they listen to you because of how y'all look. So yeah, we could have a conversation, but it ain't gonna be I'm sharing everybody's shit. Now I'll share dudes because I'll do that irregardless of because that's for me helping the space. But I'm not about to just, and I share Pink Book because her shit's fire. And there's a purpose. But I'm not gonna be just randomly sharing bitches, especially if they're like at my level, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. You know, for what? If that shit's not being reciprocated, and I shouldn't have to ask. This shouldn't be shit I have to bring up. This should be something that people do in the spirit of wanting to do it. And that's one of the big things. It's the problem. We shouldn't have to spell this shit out. It should already be intrinsic. With men, it's intrinsic to do right by females, to do right by them. Because he was speaking from that spirit, and I understand that. But with women, that's not how they think. And I'm not saying they got to help us pull our channels. That's not what I'm saying. But like being in a fucking chat don't mean shit. It don't. Being in Red Supreme's chat don't mean shit. You know, doing collaborations don't mean to a certain extent don't mean shit. Not to that level. You want a concrete example of what I'm talking about? Look at what Kendra does with Sheep Stay Sleep and Bishop Onyx. Now they're all in the same camp. So that's different. And yeah, she's high. It seems like, you know, Grinch has talked about how she's outranks them. Fine. But I'm talking about shit like that. Promotion. That's what I'm talking about. I don't share shit really expecting something back. But at the same time, I know that going in. But that don't mean I got to share everything. And I don't. And so as men, we have to be mindful of that. If you're gonna be a content creator and you want to engage in that, cool. But that's one of the things you need to do. Don't be like no Pan-Africanist and you just it's a one-way street. And you can argue it's not, but I'm not seeing a growth. I'm not seeing not like how you saw her pop off, Chantel. And it doesn't matter if they got the people from us or not. That doesn't matter or not, because the thing about it is this shit ain't in the spirit of just wanting to have a conversation. The shit is in the spirit because really women are off the goddamn charts, and I don't want to hear the fucking we both need to be held accountable. The society black men are one of the most the most held accountable demographic in the United States. So I don't want to hear about black men being held accountable, because black men being held accountable is really code for y'all need to punish that nigga for doing what I didn't want him to do. Furious Angel writes, I disagree. I'm of the opinion that we only keep this space male only. The problem is you all call this space. YouTube is not a space. YouTube is a platform. You cannot control, again, who audience members want to listen to. And that's what you all mean when you say that. And this idea that dudes are only going to want to hear women, come on, man. Like, stop. Are going to want to hear men? Stop. Stop. I mean, come on. So, I mean, when people keep saying men only, it's like y'all got to really understand what y'all mean when y'all say that. But what I'm saying is the manosphere is always going to be the black manosphere. What's up, man? That's what I'm saying. Folks, like, we're not here, trying to tell, we're not here trying to say who can belong and not belong. So that's the first thing. I just wanted to outline that, and I have no problem having a panel discussion about that. But what you have is dudes that are going to cape for certain women real hard. And it's like, nah, man, we not playing that game. We're not playing that game. Y'all, you may like them, but there's things they've said is problematic. If you're gonna cape for them, we're gonna start talking about some of the shit that some of these people have problematically said. We're not like seriously, because everything needs to be out there. And I ain't got no personal issue with Danica Marie, but at the same time, well, we're not. I know how these niggas are. I know it's enough niggas in here that they just care about what a bitch looks like. This is why y'all have no problem throwing Erica under the bus off of what she looks like. That's really what that is. That's really what that is. And this is why I've always said, and I say it again, I said it before, again, we need a purple pill space. So where y'all can operate in that, so it's known that's how y'all really get down. That way people can make a decision. But nobody wants that because they want to keep it ambiguous. Straight up. So like I said, no, I don't see it. And it's never been that. These women have always come off for us, and even on Facebook, most of these females, I would argue they got at least half, if not a little bit more men than women, because they something to look at. A lot of these chicks. Now, it may be exceptions to this rule, but a lot of them, that is what it is. That's why when I said before, when Melanie was talking about the manosphere is on the on space, Bernard wasn't buying that. I'm not buying that. Not because I don't think she's sincere, but the truth is, but our space carries a lot of authority with it. Because we've ironed out all the shit. So if you can be like deemed you on point in this space, then that's gonna really make it so you have a certain amount of credibility. Like, it's not just with the women. And for the women that got bigger channels, they got more to actually gain in that way than some of the smaller content creators. And so again, some of it, yeah, it's business, but at the same time, you know, it's the politics of it too. And if people want to do their own thing, cool, they can do their own thing. But when we start getting into the realm of the greater thing, then people are going to have their opinions on it. And it's not going to be, okay, well, motherfuckers go through the heat of the night and do it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this thing, Obsidian was trying to bring up, you know, the fact that Ramil sold his channel to Danielle. Apparently, that's the fucking news. Let me make this very clear. You know, anybody that buys a fucking YouTube channel is fucking idiot. You know, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you why. Because number one, unless you're similar to the guy that already did it, and even then I probably wouldn't do it. There's a difference between buying promotion and buying a YouTube channel. Those are two completely different things. And you buying and spending thousands, and we'll see. That remains to be seen. Maybe Sister George will be able to, you know, build up a lot of stuff on his space. But why would you buy a channel that a guy that knowingly said that women are not going to be in this space? Like, women are not allowed on Ramil's channel. So why do you even think that his audience is going to be amenable to females? What do you think? You may get, and we'll see how that works out. But because me, I'm looking at it like an experiment. Because I think it is not going to work. Maybe it does, and I eat my words. Cool. I'll make a note of that. But the reality, and I'm not here to try to sink it or tell people to answer. I'm not doing that. I want to see what's going to happen. I think that's dumb now. Because the truth is, if people were feeling folks like that, they just subscribe to you. All that is not necessary. Now, promotion's different. So my point is, Obsidian was trying to allude, and he'll say, because he didn't say it, that's not what he's trying to do. But we all know what he's trying to do, which is why Bernard cut him off on it. He was trying to say, well, why niggas was at this fucking hangout, y'all let a valuable piece of digital real estate. Nigga, get Ramil, you can't buy Ramil's some of the shit. The shit that Ramil said, he's packaged it already. It's on his Patreon. The stuff that's of real value. You can't. That's like, are you serious? Like, what do you? The only thing he's selling on his channel that has any kind of value potentially is his subscriber base, and Ramil doesn't have full control over that. Because the truth is, for all you know, Ramil can have his own email list. He sells other things, so it makes sense. Number one. Number two, so he still has access to that audience. Number two, you can't buy Ramil's reputation. And number three, the YouTube algorithm doesn't allow you to access everything. Access all the subscribers. So the algorithm only allows you to access the subscribers they want to promote to it, which is why we do the live streaming in the first place, because live streaming is given high priority so you can get a higher access of your subscribers of fucking live stream videos. So, anybody who would have bought that shit would have been stupid. Dudes too. There may have been 2-3 dudes that would have made sense. Ty City said he did none of them. Because he lines up with Ramil with a lot of shit. With most shit. And he kind of has the sensibility as to how he does his channel to where it could work. But the truth is, Ty City said he didn't know from what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I heard, he didn't know. So my thing is, like, that's not an L. That's not an L. The fuck? Shout out to Prime VA for the $10 super sticker. Shout out to Blackfoot for the $5 super chat. Without speaking to women, then we're just talking about women. That easily turns into an echo chamber. Absolutely. And I think people misunderstand speaking to women with fucking bowing down to women, or if you're around women, you're just gonna have this natural gravity to want to agree with what they say. That's some shit that happens when y'all trying to fuck these chicks. And I'm not trying to fuck no bitch on YouTube. That's the difference. And so you all start telling yourself bullshit because you all think y'all can get the pussy. This is why you niggas be in these motherfuckers' DMs. I'm here to conduct a conversation. I'm not here to fucking make a woman feel good. If it happens to, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It was gender war power play to keep the rhetoric going. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a gender war power play. Because truth be told, Ramil could create another channel and all his subscribers would subscribe to the new channel. That shit was a finesse. That's what that was. Because outside of a week, ain't nobody gonna be talking about it. And she would, and here's another thing y'all need to consider. Danielle and Concrete wouldn't have did that if they were growing like that in the first place. They're not. Which is what I've been talking about, where y'all getting upset about. A lot of the growth you see with a lot of these females, including Chantel, has to do with Kevin's audiences outside of our space. So you all are taking that and calling that our space because Kevin's attached to it. There's a lot of, most people don't know Kevin through us. People that know Kevin Samuels don't know who the fuck we are. The fuck? And what are these? Okay, so Soul Provider, what are these L's you're talking about? Give me 2 L's. Give me 2 L's. Give me 2 L's. An L is disproving what we talk about. That's an L. But other than that, based on what you're saying an L is, give me some L's. I want to know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about these L's. I mean, I just hear people just saying shit. They're putting words together that forms a sentence, but it has no meaning. That's what I'm hearing. What are these L's? The magazine BS is not an L. That's not an L. That's not an L. That's not an L. Number one, that's not an L because technically they got, first of all, nobody bought the Black Manosphere because people left it open for Angerman to buy it. That's why nobody bought it. And technically, Father Time is kind of in that same camp. It'd be different if a white person bought it. That's not an L. That's not an L. What else? That's not an L. How is that an L? Yeah, somebody owned, again, that's that Ramil bullshit. Somebody owned that nigga. That don't matter. They can't make us not say it. We just can't sell t-shirts off of it. But they can't make us not say it. We don't even put the Black Manosphere in our titles like that. There's nothing they can do that stop. Nothing that we do with that stops. If anything, they're buying something that's already been branded. That has a lot of shit that comes along with that. Just like when Tariq Nasheed had ADOS, well, it was ADOS. What did he do? FBA. That don't mean nothing. What are you talking about? Yeah, of course. But you talk about, my point is, when somebody says all these L's, you would think, okay, you can come up with 2 L's. 2 L's. So basically, the fact that Danielle spent several $1,000s and got finessed, because that's what I think happened, and I think she finessed herself. She got finessed out of several $1,000s because she bought a channel. Are you all honestly saying that if I would have sold my channel for like $2,000, that's an L for the manosphere? Knowing good and goddamn well I could create another channel. What are you all talking about? That's not an L. An L, again, is disproving a point that we have made that's central to what we talk about. For instance, an L would be disproving the fact that 53% of black men don't have kids. An L is disproving the fact that 64% of black men are in the middle class. Are we contextualizing that? Those are L's. Losing a YouTube channel getting deleted. Fine, that's a big channel that's really important to the space. That's an L. Those are L's. Little things that happen. I mean, shit, we might as well call Fresh and Fit. That's an L for the manosphere. Glenn and Cameron shit. That's an L for the manosphere. Those are not L's. Why do you keep saying loud? Yeah, blue man, bye-bye. Since you want to be a bitch-ass nigga, you can be a bitch-ass nigga where your comments don't go through. Glendon is not an L for the black manosphere because Glendon was never in the black manosphere. Glendon has called a lot of people in the black manosphere a bunch of pussies. So by that definition, Jason Black is in the black manosphere. That's not an L. So basically, an L for every black man is in the black manosphere. Like, that's not like manosphere. You got to associate Glenn and Cameron with content creators. You can associate them with me, but outside of me, who can you really associate Glenn and Cameron to? Nobody. And that's if you want to say it's an L. My channel's still growing at pretty much the same pace. I'm still getting my super chats. So I mean, so yeah, so LC, so what I'm trying to tell you is that's some gossip shit. Like an L, for instance, an L would be, even though it's not a big L, Heavenly Controller and Longstreet Griffey. Longstreet Griffey had to take a temporary L for backing up Heavenly. That's an L. Because as a consequence, a lot of people don't fuck with Long Griffey. They keep him with an armed distance because he's associated with Heavenly. Because he didn't want to turn on Heavenly and he wanted to make a stand. I get it. That's an L. Just like I did. But the truth is, ain't nobody that don't fuck with me now that fucked with me before. Because of Glendon. Glendon lost people that fucked with him. That's an L. Glendon getting on the lead attorney and looking bad. That's an L. Those are L's. Those are individual L's, though. Those are not group L's. Y'all, like, that's some guys. Oh, yeah, man, because that's not a group L. It's not. And y'all are like applying group L's like, no. It can't be an L without a consequence. It has to have a consequence. Ramil selling his channel has zero consequence. The black manosphere thing, you could argue it as a consequence, but the truth is, in that situation, who bought it, it's not a consequence. Shit, I can get up under O'Shea and it be the Negro manosphere in a heartbeat. That don't mean shit. That doesn't change what we do. My channel is not branded to the black manosphere. Not really. Not my shit. My shit is me, Edward Anderson. And nobody's channel, most of our channels are not really branded to the black manosphere. That's why people can try to jump in and out of it like it ain't shit. Well, I mean, it ain't okay. My thing is words mean things. And we got to stop getting in the, yeah, they got L's. Yeah, because there's too many people that do that, man. Like, when I say something, it's serious. And I try to be serious about what I say. And that's, it can't be, well, they took these L's and da-da-da. That list was an L that we had to deal with. But we dealt with it. And the fact that people can't remember the L's, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the short-term memory comment you made initially, that should tell you how much how strong those L's actually are. But that was the second thing I wanted to talk about. That shit don't mean shit. Shout out to Ramil, because I think he finessed a couple of thousand. I think he know that. But we'll see. Maybe Danielle got foresight I don't have. Shout out to JC. The dudes who hate this space are jealous of it. And like, you should support Ramil's Patreon. If y'all really support him, drop $5 in his Patreon. I have. So, kudos to all y'all that's in my Patreon. But yeah, like I said before, that law was no, man. You cannot, like, this like a trade deficit. No. The advantage these chicks got is they can vacuum up blue pill niggas, and some of them niggas are amenable to our conversation. But you don't see them really engaging like that. No, man, yes they do. Look, man, there's some of them that do a little bit. But their channels have not grown as a consequence of that. Their channels have grown because some of them got attached to other dudes. Yes, Danica, that's not true. But Danica ain't a new chick either, is she? Now, I brought up Danica, but my point is, you talk about just because she fucked with Game Changer, a couple of other folks. Nah, man, that's not enough. That's not what I see. Nope. That's some bullshit. She took down the Patreon. No, yeah, so I'm not saying, yeah, you're right. Hate is a strong emotion. I'm not saying it's hate. I'm not even saying this doesn't like. But I'm not talking about you personally. When I'm bringing your stuff up, I'm taking what you said and applying it to generally how people use it in the same context. I'm not trying to make this personal. Shout out to BGS. We like drama like our women. Yeah. And a lot of this, and I get tired of having to like give context to this YouTube bullshit. Because it really takes away from other stuff. Now, I do it. That's on me. I choose to do it. But yeah, a lot of this shit is drama. That's really what it is. This is another way for people to dreb up drama for dudes to talk about. But no, it ain't it's not reciprocal. It never has been. It never has been reciprocal. And that's what a lot of these dudes don't really want to see bitches at all. That's really what it is. And I understand that sentiment. And so we're not going to sit there and try to make it seem like that benefits us, them being in a space like that, because damn. Because ultimately, it really doesn't. Man, where's the McDonald's? It really doesn't. Not in the way of us growing our subscribership like that. Shit. It really doesn't. So I'm not and it does it not because it's impossible. It mainly does it because, again, these women are taking. They're not giving. They're not. You don't got none of these bitches talk about conversations with kings. Or you having a couple of they always got control. You motherfuckers coming up there because they want to talk to their favorite bitch because that's the closest they gonna get to them. No, fuck that. I'm not an idiot, which is why you don't see me really all over female life. I may be in a chat, but I'm not about to be I'm not about to be sitting here. I'm like, it's gonna be in the spirit of a partnership. Or it ain't gonna be on here. Sometimes I go up on some shit, but usually I ain't doing that. And then a lot of these niggas really be like, yeah, man, it's reciprocal. What the fuck are you talking about? Shout out to Sir Tice with the $10 cash app. Much appreciated. So it is what it is. And again, I'm not hating, but at the same time, I understand the dynamics in this motherfucker. You know, these chicks can just vacuum shit because, again, all they got to do is look a certain way and niggas just go subscribe. Which is going to tell the algorithm to go, that's what, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, but at the same time, you know, a lot, yeah, like I said, shout out to D. Scott. Ammo for the semi-automatic car. Yeah, that's funny. It's going to be a running joke. I don't need to collaborate with the women to get my channel up. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. And sometimes that can be problematic doing that because niggas be protective of the bitches they like. So what happens is the nigga won't like you just because you on a chick's channel. I'm talking about the dudes that listen to that chick. But no, if anything, like trust me, all the channels that I've told you about that I might collab with, like all of those are dudes. Ain't none of those are female channels. Yeah, and I'm not. And here's the thing: I have no problem talking to females, but I'm always going to prioritize talking to dudes because I'm looking for the audience that's amenable to what I'm trying to do. And then if there's women that kind of fall through, then they fall through. But yeah. And then, you know, you got shout out to BGS who's in the chat. You got and I didn't know Melanie King talked to Wellaway, because that's another thing. These women, they just seeing dudes and they looking at who got the juice. But the talking points, unless it's something that jumps out at them, they're not really looking at like that. Because that Wellaway nigga, he's constantly trying to like throw these little bits. Here's the thing. The pro-black, like when I say the pro-black, the type of pro-black, here's the thing that Wellaway don't want to understand. He don't want to understand. His thing is he thinks he's smarter than everybody, so people should be listening to him because of that. This is why George Macon always used to talk about that. Did you read the literature shit? The reality of the situation is that a Wellaway is trying some shit that's already been debunked in this space. Because number one, a lot of us are pro-black, but we're not pro-stupid. We're not pro-bitch. We're not pro the black. We're gonna preserve the black community, even if the black community is a gynocracy. And we're gonna play this little runaround game where we talk about how yeah, man, really the white man's the enemy. Let's be clear, you pro-blacks are not gonna do jack shit. The only thing you could potentially do with the white man maybe is compete with them economically, at least to get resources enough to where you can provide what you need to provide. You niggas are not going to war with no white man, so shut the fuck up. You all at best can only be in a defensive position at best in the United States of America. You all are not gonna do shit with no white man. Not hell, y'all, like you're not. You are not. So let's cut the bullshit about you talking about focusing on the white man. You not doing shit with the white man. Y'all act like, yeah, man, we need to just get a plurality of black men to focus on the white man and not the black woman. No, the reality is we need to start checking our bitch. Because if you don't check your bitch, but you want to go after the white man doing it, nigga, you a guard dog at best. That's another thing. The thing about it is we got to understand the difference between the burden of leadership and authority that comes along with it. Black women want black men to have the burden of leadership with no authority. Fuck that. That's the difference. And that comes up in that shit shows up in every fucking conversation. We're expected to we gotta prove our right to lead. Bitch, date out. Go get you a non-black man. Get the fuck away from me. I'm not about to sit here and prove shit. That's a you problem. That shout out to JC. That's a you problem. No, man, these bitches are problematic because these niggas have failed. Well, then they need to go find other men. Because that's how it works. When men fail, the women book. So the fact that black women are still fucking black men that they perceive have failed tells you you straight up, that's they're cool with it. Straight up. So no, I'm not. It's always they want something. Every time they fucking up, either they want clout or they want credibility. Fuck that. You gotta remember, I remember Pretty Kelly used to come through here. She said 500,000 subscribers. She wanted to manipulate shit. And as soon as she realized she couldn't do it, she kept on saying, well, I don't know why another man would talk about another man's dick. That sound like that's gay. That sound like that's gay to me, as if we don't know what the fuck you doing. Like, we see you doing it. Why are you trying to, well, that ain't what, bitch, shut up. Like, damn, we're not dumb. And then she finally bounced. Like, ain't nobody trying to fuck you here. Because that's the only reason why bitches get away with that shit. Niggas want to preserve the possibility of sex. Alan Roger Curry patent pending. And so they start going along with the bitch, and the bitch believes that the nigga going along with you, well, they really believe what I'm saying. No, they don't. They're preserving the possibility of sex. That's all that is. P.O.P. Possibility of pussy. You popping ass niggas. I don't have to do that, because I'm not trying to fuck y'all on YouTube. So I'm like, bitch, you what? All right, I'll check it out. Yeah, there may be personal L's that people are taking. I'm going to keep it real with you. I think that's an L for Danielle. Because trust me, I'm an internet marketer. Buying YouTube channels is not something you do. Instagram accounts, maybe, because you can create branded Instagram accounts. And the truth be told, you can create branded YouTube channels. Black Excellence is a perfect example of it. It is possible. But you have to set the channel up from jump. Reveal's channel is not a branded channel. Anyway, y'all, I don't run my mouth off enough. Yeah, so anyway. Yeah. Anyway, y'all. With that being said, but as far as that, I stand by that shit, and again, I'm not even going to say, oh, well, that's the opinions. No, it doesn't. And y'all want to bring up these little exceptions based on what you all are individually doing. I'm talking about overall in the space. Overall in the space, that takes more than that gives. It does. You don't have a lot of clusters of YouTube channels that people can just chitlin circuit their way on. And we know these people got subscribed to other things, but our stuff gives a lot of credibility. And especially in the type of content we do. So, no. Because these women, if you notice who these people are talking to, there's certain people they avoid. And they avoid people that's going to ask too many questions. They do. And again, y'all got to remember, Kevin Samuels has a whole audience completely separate from us. And I'm not going to lie, we need to start getting on a lot of that audience. I'm not an idiot. Just because I don't want y'all telling me over and over and over again, don't mean I don't see it, and don't mean I won't call it out. They're not doing. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.